Give us 30 minutes each week to discover the trends that are shaping the future of retirement with That Annuity Show. We bring you conversations with industry leaders who are revolutionizing financial products, technology, and distribution channels. Now, here's your host, Paul Tyler.
Hi, this is Paul Tyler, and welcome to another very special episode of That Annuity Show. My co-hosts were unable to join me, but we're going to have an interesting show. Cannot wait to tell you our guest. I will tell you we're going to talk about AI in the industry from none other than Kartik Sakthivel from Limra, who is doing just some remarkable work pushing the industry ahead in AI. Before I get him on here, I never would have expected, given sort of the wave of AI, that our industry would actually be out on the forefront. But somehow, Kartik has collected 100 plus people to put their collective energy into actually getting something done here. So, Kartik, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Paul. It's such a privilege to be here with you. And I've mentioned this to you, and for your listeners, right? I mentioned this to you offline. But the industry and everybody in it thinks the world of you. The amount
Well,
of
thank
value
you.
you create and have been creating through your career, right, at NASRE before and at Zinnia now, and the work that you've been doing with the annuity show, if our industry leadership replicated a modicum of what a Paul Tyler does for the industry, this is going to be a vibrant industry for
Oh,
the next
wow.
200 years. Thanks
Well,
to you.
thank you so much. But this show's about you. And so, can you talk about like what is your official title at Limera, and then just kind of give us sort of the headline of what you've been doing with the AI governance group?
Yeah, thank you, Paul. So nice to meet you virtually, all of your listeners. Kartik Sakthivel, Vice President, Chief Information Officer for Limra and Loma. I've had the distinct honor of serving in my role for 8 years now. And as you folks know, Limra and Loma is an institution within our industry. And it's just been a remarkable journey for me personally and for us being in the nucleus of the industry over the past 8-10 years or so, especially as we bear witness to Paul all of the digital transformations that have occurred throughout our industry and the ongoing adjustments to all of the transformations, and then our pivot and focus into all things AI over the past couple of years has been remarkable.
Yeah. Well, thank you. By the way, thank you. But now, sort of set the stage. I'll help set it. I remember one day reading about this thing called ChatGPT. It wasn't that long ago. I think that was maybe 20 was it
23,
20
23,
23.
yeah, Q1 23, yeah,
I remember trying and saying, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this."
right,
Right?
a hundred
A-
percent.
Right now, I remember probably within maybe it was maybe 6 months or 12 months after that. I think the NAIC actually came out with this model guidance on what insurance companies should do with AI. You need to set up this committee, 20 people. Da, 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 da. Now, at that point, you said or did what at Limera?
Yeah, so thank you, Paul. Let's take a step back, right, and let's reintroduce why we are where we are in terms of artificial intelligence and our role as Limra and Loma in effectuating that change, right? So, 2023, as you correctly pointed out, ChatGPT seemingly came out of nowhere. I think it was around the holidays, December 2022, when it started getting popular. ChatGPT is the fastest growing app in human history, right? So, we've got ChatGPT that reached a million users in 5 days. It reached 100 million users in 2 months, and the rubric here is it took Netflix 10 years and Facebook 4.5 years to get to that same milestone, right? So the growth has been pretty remarkable. Look, artificial intelligence and the use of artificial intelligence in our industry is not new, right? So carriers have been looking to leverage AI across the value chain for a while. So rudimentary chatbots, if you will, um, anti-fraud platforms. There's been effective use of AI, to be able to do some internal operational efficiencies, analytics, predictive analytics for the most part, using machine learning. and definitely in accelerated and automated underwriting, right? Safely and responsibly. So Limra research in 2017, less than 50% of carriers had some level of machine learning in their automated accelerated underwriting journey, and that number has jumped significantly since then, right? So AI is not new within our industry, and our industry is a highly ethical industry, right? So we always prioritize ethical issues versus methodological issues versus performance issues for all of these AI systems, which also translated to the fact that the use of AI was controlled, was methodical, was safe and effective, right? Before carriers explored scalability. Now, 2023 Q1 changed all of that, right? I do fundamentally believe ChatGPT ushered in the renaissance, if you will, of artificial intelligence for the simple reason because it just democratized artificial intelligence for the masses, right? For the first time ever, you did not need to be a data scientist. You did not need to be an AI modeler. Anybody who's a consumer, Joe Public, could interact with artificial intelligence and consume its benefits, right? So that was number one, accessibility. Number two, ease of use. Look, ChatGPT is simple to use. If you can Google, you can theoretically use ChatGPT, right? Can you write better prompts, right? Absolutely. But you don't need to, right? You can start interacting with it. Three, I think their business model was also very smart, right? So obviously there is a free version of ChatGPT and freemium services, right, that scale up since then. But if it's free, it's for me, right? The ubiquitousness of artificial intelligence via ChatGPT and OpenAI has been pretty remarkable to bear witness to. And look, I've been in IT for over 25 years, Paul, and I know you're thinking, how's that possible? He looks like he's 12, right? But when I sit up and take notice of a technology that I do fundamentally believe is so transformational because of the wow factor, ChatGPT certainly was that technology. Now, fast forward to Limra and Loma and our AI industry group. It was 2023 when you're like, you know what, I think our industry would benefit from all of us coming together and trying to co-create some best practices because I did not believe our industry was ready to adopt AI at scale and was ready for the transformation. And what we witnessed to over the past year and a half, 2 years, Paul, has been nothing short of remarkable, right? And it is a testament to each and every one of the industry leaders, yourself included, who are such an integral part of this AI industry group. So we went to the Limra and Loma board of directors. I credit our leadership, our executive leadership at Limra and Loma, right? So our CEO, Dave, our Chief Operating Officer, Gina, for their foresight to go, yes, there's a there, right? We need to get together and present this to the board. And from there, that was the genesis of our AI industry group that we've been convening since in earnest since Q1 in 2024.
Yeah, well, it's phenomenal. Now, before we get there, okay, Kartik, you're a TEDx speaker, just one of the most energetic people I've run into in the industry. Just tell us, where did this come from? What is your? Just give us a little bit of your personal history, how you came to this industry, how you found yourself in such a pivotal position.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. So I was at Liberty Mutual before my tenure here at Limmer and Loma for 10 years, right? So and I've had other industries experience before then. I was at LL Bean for 3 years.
I did not know. Okay, I
I
should
was
have
at
known
an
that. Should
educational
have.
technology provider for a couple of years. I was in a telecom, a telco. I was in telecommunications, right? So I started my career slinging code, writing code. I graduated my master's program when I was like 19 or something. So I've been working for a good long while since then. Here in New Hampshire, Maine, Massachusetts, right? In my tenure at Liberty Mutual, I was blessed to have a pretty broad cross-functional team across the world. So, and I think that really truly prepared me for an opportunity with Limra and Loma, where I serve in my current role. So, 8 years at Limra and Loma, love my job, right? So obviously, I have traditional CIO responsibilities, sideways and downwards, across the organization, end-to-end technology responsibilities. I serve on the Limra and Loma executive team with just amazing, most intelligent people that I've ever served with. And then I have external responsibilities as well, which again, I'm blessed to interact with the industry. So, to answer your question, where the energy comes from, I draw energy from you, right? I draw energy from each and every one I interact with because I always feel like I get more than I give in every single interaction, every single conversation. I have to say, I have to give credit to Limra and Loma. So 8 years ago, there was no TEDx, there weren't any books, right? I've been on the TEDx stage for 3 years, maybe the fourth one this year. Had the pleasure of articulating my thoughts in four books. Completed my PhD all through Limra and Loma, and I directly attribute what I think is probably the best team that I've had in my tenure in my career, right? And just an amazing set of peers and leaders who are super supportive.
Yeah. Well, this is great. Well, now I've been part of your governance group, and I think at the end I'll let you sort of talk about it. I think you've got a lot of really interesting output coming along here, but maybe we should sort of stop and say, okay, we've done a lot here. Is the glass half empty or half full for this industry? And I struggle with this, right? I came to a technology company because why did I come here to Zinnia? Because I think this AI is going to rewrite this industry, period. And
100%.
for me, this was a place to be to do that. The NAC model was I'm going to say there were good things and bad things. Good thing was it brought the attention, and I'd say got the C-suite and the top of the house to focus on it. Downside is like let's not put one of these committees together, and you've also got 20 people on a train going really fast, and any one of them can pull the emergency stop. So was this a good thing or was this a bad thing? If you could go back and you were, Commissioner Mays at the NIC, what would Kartik have done with perfect hindsight?
So a couple of things, right? And again, Limra and Loma, we're not in the advocacy space, right? So from my perspective, from an AI point of view, I'll say a few things. Number one, look, it can't be an easy job being in a regulatory position at this point, right? Primarily because you're trying to put together with the industry guardrails on something that's moving and evolving so rapidly, right? So it's really challenging for anybody to be able to keep up with it, right? To be able to balance the absolute need for innovation while providing people just the opportunity to do so in a scalable, responsible manner, right? So that's number one. Number two, let's take a step back, right, and borrow from Simon Sinek and just start with why, right? And I've said this to you before, Paul, and I know you completely agree with it. Look, Limra Loma Life Happens Barometer Study 2024. We'll have a new one coming out, right? But there are a little over 100 million Americans that are uninsured and underinsured, right? And the uninsured, underinsured challenge is more acute in communities of color, right? There are families in America that are only a few paychecks away from financial calamity, right? Especially when with the loss of the primary breadwinner. Um, and that's a problem. And we all, as Americans, need to take that very seriously because it's the richest country in the history of the planet. But that's unconscionable, right? So life insurance is such a key part of a sound financial planning strategy where we need to be able to reach out to the masses and make sure that they understand that they can avail of financial protection at a reasonable fair price, right? So that's vital. Two, let's also think about the next generation of consumers, right? By virtue of simple math, by the end of this decade, Paul, a lot of our buying populace, right, our customer base, people we're looking to protect financially, are going to be Gen Z, right? The younger age band of the millennials and Gen Z. Gen Z is a cohort that has had access to smartphones since elementary school. They think very differently. They engage very differently. They communicate very differently. And if there's a tool and technology out there, AI, that can help us protect more Americans, protect more of these Gen Z populations, we should absolutely, absolutely do it, right? Because it is a not just a an industry imperative; it is a moral imperative for us to be able to do so, right? So, um, and that's the simple predicate of the AI industry group that we have and that you serve on. We're doing the right things, Paul, because they're the right things to do, right? Period. End of story.
Yeah, and I think there's so much opportunity for this to do good, Kartik. I mean, Commissioner May. Mentioned Commissioner Mays. I also know one of his priorities is to do exactly what you touched on, is bring insurance to a wider spectrum of people. And I think I'll posit there are two ways to do it. One is communication education. I remember, when I started my career at MetLife, I think we supported something like sales in maybe 11 or 12 different languages. It was expensive. It was Chinese, it was
Yeah,
Russian. I
yeah,
mean, it was astonishing. Now, you think about the cost back then to do translations in paper, have it reviewed, have people could actually listen, interpret it, have websites in multiple languages. That was really expensive.
yeah.
All of a sudden, cost goes down. Oh, by the way, people learn differently. Um, I like to do by doing. You may like to do by watching. Somebody else may need to learn by listening. Suddenly, we can not only change languages, but we can change modicum. And I think the other side is cost. Like, you think of how much money it takes to run these beasts of policy admin systems, connect them, make the connections. Could we take the cost down? So suddenly, not that the industry makes lots more money, but we can also start to offer much smaller policies, at similar cost.
Where we are in the industry today, right? As you mentioned, from an operational efficiency and a cost savings point of view, I mean, you as part of the AI industry group, you've seen it, right? So most of our focus has been internal for organizations to be able to, and yes, obviously we still have the chatbots, right? And we have anti-fraud platforms, AI for anti-fraud. But most of the focus and attention has been to increase our operational efficiency, right? And that's very important because, just take any insurance company, strip away all of the technology and the systems. If you do a genealogical dig, right, of technology, you'll find most of the processes and operations are unchanged in the past 200 years, right? When James Monroe was sixth president of these United States. So I think if you can bring automation to bear and operational efficiency, think about our people, the people serving in the industry, right? So just take a simple example of somebody who spends 10, 20% of their job doing rote, repeatable operational tasks. Now, I've said this before, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Our industry is a human to human, person to person, flesh to flesh business, right? People want to talk to other humans for financial protection advice. They might go do their own research online, right? But they want to talk to an agent or a financial advisor, right? So our industry, I don't believe we'll be looking at a scenario where jobs will get replaced en masse, right? So I want to dispel that myth immediately. I do think if there is 10, 20% of Paul Tyler's day that can be automated by virtue of AI, if these rote repeatable operational tasks you can delegate to an AI system, and you can think of yourself as being an editor and not an author of everything you do, right? That's 20% capacity back in your day. Imagine, Paul, investing that 20% of your capacity in pursuing a Loma designation. And here's why technology is going to do what technology is going to do, right? If you become a student of the game, if you make yourself domain literate, you could literally serve anywhere in the value chain, right? Regardless of what technology does. Think about how indispensable you are as an asset to our industry, not for the short term, but over the long arc of history. We talk about culture quite a bit, especially after COVID, because our organizations are in a hybrid world. Imagine having education and the increase of domain knowledge within every firm as the great equalizer. So everybody's speaking the same language, right? Loma 281 to Loma 291, which is the FLMI level one. Imagine being able to get your mind share focused on, if you're a Limra or Loma member, going out and understanding what's happening out in the industry, reading our award-winning Limra market facts, consuming our research, understanding our benchmarks, so you can truly invest in becoming an industry professional as a career, and not just as a job, right? So when I talk about the potential of AI to transform our industry and our business processes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. We're smart creatures, right? Not me personally, but people in the industry are smart creatures, right? Let's think some greater thoughts.
I love it. Well, let's sort of take state of the industry piece by piece. Education. You said yes. This is so accessible that even though you might be a lot better prompting, if you know how to use Google, you can use it. How do we take this up to another level? I saw the other day that I think Salesforce has done signed some big contract with UK to do AI training, across the entire government. How about our industry? Like,
Yeah,
how do I actually put a contract in and get AI to read the contract and evaluate the terms?
yeah.
What 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 are the opportunities here for education
So,
broadly?
so number one, I think we've talked about this in our AI industry group. It is imperative for organizations to invest in increasing or establishing AI literacy across their enterprise. JP Diamond, smart guy, Chase, right? So every new employee at JP Morgan Chase goes through generative AI training, right? After they're done with their onboarding, right? Here's your corporate policies, here's your onboarding, here's your Gen AI training. They're not making these people data scientists, right? They're not making them AI modelers. They are helping them become effective at the tools that they have so they can increase the throughput and performance of their own jobs, right? And hopefully make their lives a little bit easier, right? So establishment of AI literacy is going to be very important. Number two, there is also, people think that people say they like change, but no one likes to change, right, Paul? So I think it's important for us as industry leaders to keep in mind, how do you shepherd this change through your organizations? Look, AI is a tool or technology. What's going to make it successful are the processes and the people who operate said processes, right? You cannot effectuate a mass transformation of your organization if you're not willing to invest in business process changes commensurate to the technology you're trying to enable, right? So I think it's important for us to keep that in mind because, look, people say, yeah, I'm okay with the change, but anytime it happens to us, don't move my cheese, right? Debris will be everywhere. Debris will be everywhere. Thank you. That's my hashtag dad joke.
Debris. Yeah, of
As you
course.
know, because it was Father's Day, so we need to have dad jokes in there. So I think it's important for us as industry leaders to keep in mind that we will need to be open to shepherd this transformation within our enterprises. So, number one, literacy. Number two, change and change management. It's okay to encounter change. Number three, I will say, I think we need to keep in mind that we are an innovative bunch and we need to continue innovating as long as it's done safely and within your corporate guidelines. So you talked about reading policies. If your listeners are reading this or are listening to this, they have an industry group, likely AI industry organization, a team, cross-functional team within your company. Please do interact with them and find out what is safe to do, what has been approved to do within your organizations. Right? Companies have worked really hard to set up governance structures and shepherd use cases within their firms. So there's probably a solution out there across your organization today. So definitely get in touch with them. But my message to the industry is we cannot be afraid to innovate, right? As long as it's done in a safe and responsible manner, innovate. You might have our industry doesn't like IT technology projects to fail. And these are use cases, right? This is your ideation pipeline. If 9 out of 10 of these use cases in your ideation pipeline fail, that's okay, right? Because if the 10th one that succeed might be potentially transformational to your entire enterprise, right? So as leaders, nurture this culture of experimentation and innovation, but do provide the guardrails and the parameters that people can feel safe to play, and your organization and you are protected. So I'm happy to talk about what our AI industry group is doing to effectuate some of these best practices.
Yeah. Well, let's come back to this. Let me push a little more.
Yeah.
Literacy. Is that a role that Limerick should or could play in getting the industry at a employee level smarter about how to use this stuff?
Yeah, great question, Paul. So, look, our expertise from a Limera and Loma point of view is domain knowledge, right? And we did explore whether we should do something in the AI space. But for us to invest in doing something in the AI space, I don't think it would be fair of us to push that at this point because it's moving so quickly, right? What we can do is we can certainly help the industry understand what it means for the industry, right? I don't think Limra and Loma will be, I personally will be well positioned to talk to people about how to write a good prompt, right? That should not be where our focus should be. But I can absolutely help educate. We, Limra and Loma, can help educate the industry on what all this AI stuff means. And what we're doing through this AI industry group is exactly that. I will also say our industry advantage program. We have short online courses. We do have a module on AI where we talk about not specifically machine learning or model prompting or prompting itself, but we talk about what AI means to each and every one of us as denizens of our industry, and what it means for our industry and our customers specifically.
Well, okay. Well, actually, good sort of transition because uh, on one hand we want innovation. On the other hand, I think as you and I both see, the biggest value for I think when for AI inside organizations when the organization reshifts itself to sort of take advantage of this stuff. Where's the innovation going to happen? Is it going to happen with me, Paul Tyler? I'm at my desk. I learn how to do the prompts, or will it be my CEO or CIO or CTO or head of HR who says, "Hey, listen, if we do the following, this is what can happen." Is it, how much happens at the C-suite level? How much of that innovation is going to happen, on the quote unquote floor, wherever that floor may be today?
Yeah, so unlike technology initiatives of the past, right? We're going to modernize our back office systems. We're going to rewrite mainframe green screen systems. They were usually a top down initiative, right? So, with AI innovation, unlike technological progress of the past that I just mentioned, I don't think it's a binary thing, right? Because just like the internet 25 years ago, Paul, whether you are fresh out of school and just entering a career, or whether you're the CEO and the C-suite, the opportunity, the beauty of having AI be democratized to each and every one of us is that the opportunities for innovations are at both ends. And I think the best is going to be somewhere in the middle, right? So obviously the C-suite can provide the resources and the structure and the policies and the governance and the best practices and the values and the ethics. And the innovation can happen bottom up as well. So I do think it's going to be the answer is both. It's not a binary choice with AI specifically.
Okay, interesting. All right, now tell me what is next for the AI governance group. What's coming?
So our AI industry group, as I mentioned, we kicked off in Q1 2024, and again, Paul, props to you because you've been on this ride ever since diligently, right? We started off with about 40 business and technology executives, and we were quite intentional, Paul. You'll remember, to make sure that we have voices across the value chain, right? It's not just technology or not just business. We have a broad mix. So happy to say today we enjoy business and technology executive participation of over 130 executives across the industry.
Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to the vibrancy of AI, right? And what Limra and Loma, what we do best is bring the industry together and mutualize the problem solving. Look, it does not make sense for Acme Insurance Company to get after best practices, tools, frameworks, scorecards, germane and bespoke to that organization, right? And then somebody else to do the same, and then somebody else to do the same. So we're all collectively doing all of the things that help the industry by mutualizing and commonalizing the problem solving, right? So we started meeting, the first few quarters, we're just trying to figure out where the industry is, right? So we did a survey, if you remember, at end of Q1 last year in 2024, and we published three really meaty, insightful papers as part of phase one, finger on the pulse where the industry was at that point in time. And some of those points are still salient and quite valid. Kelly Coomer, the CIO of Salmons Financial, has been serving as committee chair ever since inception. Summer of last year, we pivoted over into phase two, which is co-creation of tools, scorecards, frameworks, best practices, and industry standards by the industry and for the industry. For example, we've already published cost benefit analyses templates, right? Something as simplistic as a cost benefit analysis template, which exists for every other technology project, but AI is a little bit different, right? So we've got 6 of those frameworks out there. We just recently published an ROI calculator. So when your CFO asks, what is the ROI out of our AI program? So we've got an MVP for an ROI calculator out there. I was surprised late last year how many organizations, especially the smaller ones, lack an AI safe use policy for their employees or are still in the process of creating it, right? So we published an AI safe use policy template. We published a Gen AI safe use policy template that will help your employees understand what your approved internal Gen AI tools are, whether it's GPT Enterprise, whether it's Microsoft Copilot for the enterprise with enterprise data protection, what have you, right? And we've got a pretty robust roadmap. So we recently published, or are publishing, excuse me, the AI risk classification model, right? So if you are an internal AI group, you don't necessarily want the same risk management policies and structures around I don't know, a rudimentary AI chatbot that you would with a higher risk system, right? So we have a way for you to be able to an industry standard way for the industry to be able to slot these into risk categories, such that you can put together a commensurate risk management strategy based upon that, right? So where we go from here, Paul, in addition to the over I think it was, don't quote me on this, but there's probably about a couple of dozen things that we've already published out on our AI site for Limra and Loma members. And we've got a pretty robust roadmap, right? In my opinion, our roadmap is going to keep us vibrant, at least for the next 12 to 15 months. I will also say AI is evolving so rapidly. For example, we had a pretty robust roadmap in December of 2024 that was reviewed with the entire group. And in January, the industry started talking about agentic AI and AI agents, which appear a grand total of 0 times in our roadmap. So there are going to be, they certainly do now, but at that point in time. So it's just a question of how quickly AI is evolving and how our roadmap evolves to meet the demands and the needs of our industry.
Yeah. Well, anyway, great work. And I guess like if I'm working somewhere, someplace in the industry, I'm not in the technology area. I'm not, in one of these decision making groups. As you said, a lot of innovation happens in the front line. Kartik, what are your top 3, 4 steps to help me find my red cape?
I see what you did there. Well done. July 11th, Superman releases. Don't miss it in theaters. So a couple of things to note, right? Regardless of where you are in the value chain, you will be using AI if you aren't already, right? Copilot, GPT for enterprise, what have you. And even if your organization hasn't intentionally invested in building out an AI program, Paul, as you and I both know, AI is being embedded as key software capabilities in every software as a service vendor product. Each and every vendor, whether it's Microsoft or Adobe, has AI or is incorporating actively into their product offerings. So, right, so you're going to be a consumer at some point. So my message to folks is number one, if your organization is a Limra and Loma member, you have access to limra.com, loma.org, where we are storing all of our outputs from this AI industry group. Be curious, go check those out. We have tons of insights, right, between the tools, frameworks, scorecards, best practices, the white papers that we're publishing, Paul. We have 3 active subcommittees right now that are publishing white papers. That is a treasure trove. It's a gold mine of information. And I have to say, it's not just me saying it. You have heard our peers on the AI industry group who are active in other industry groups as well, chief AI officers, what have you. No one has this, Paul. No one has what Limra and Loma have been able to do with this industry group by the industry and for the industry, right? So take pride in that, right? Our industry is certainly if not advanced in AI implementation, we're advanced in making sure that we have sustained and safe success with AI for the long term, right? So go out, number one, go out and check those insights, right? Because that's what Limra and Loma are here for. Number two, I think again going back to AI literacy. Again, you don't have to be a data modeler. No one's asking you to be a data modeler. No one's asking you to be technical, but at least understand the tool that you have. AI can be a Swiss Army knife, right? But it's important. It's incumbent on you to be intellectually curious and go out and explore. And number three, be open to change. I think that's also a key thing, right? Things will change, right? Things will change. Business processes that do A, B, C, D tomorrow might do A, B, C today. It might do A, B, C tomorrow, and you just need to be open with that. My recommendation is get ahead of it, right? So innovation happens when the fingers are on the keyboard, right? It's not with people like me who are 17 steps removed. It's with people who are all day, every day dealing with tangible, specific business problems. So if you ask yourself, how can I leverage AI to make my job better? How can I leverage AI to add more value to my customers? How can I leverage AI to protect more Americans with sound financial stability? That is a starting point for you to start getting innovative with AI. And then if you have good ideas, right? No one person in no part of the value chain has a monopoly on good ideas. Definitely bring it to the attention of your leaders, champion it, take it to the next level because innovation and progress in our industry is going to start there.
I love it. And if you love this too, you are a prolific author, 4 books that I found: Bite into AI, Leader's Guide to AI, DNAI, the AI Management Framework, Digital Planet, Human Inhabitants. My favorite one, though, Kartik, is Find Your Red Cape. This is great. So thank you for what you're doing, across the board, inspiring people, telling a story, creating people frameworks. But the last question is, how do people plug into what you're doing at Limra? Besides finding your people in the company who are part of this, can they? Is there a site to go to for some of these frameworks? If they've got a Limra password, what's the deal?
Yeah, so our frameworks, our best practices, our white papers, podcasts, right? Those are all available for Limra and Loma members. So if you go to limra.com, trending topics, artificial intelligence, or the same URL holds true with Loma as well. But everything on Luma.com is mirrored on Luma.org because we do have two sites for our members. So everything that I just mentioned is available on that microsite. You will have to authenticate with your Luma.com account. If your company is a member and if you don't have a Luma.com account, please do reach out to our customer service. The information is available on our website, not just for AI, but Limra and Loma, we are a treasure trove of industry information. And I promise you, you will find incredible value on our website.
Kartik, thank you so much for your time. And I want to thank our listeners. Be sure to recommend our show. And most importantly, come back next week for another great episode of That Annuity Show. Kartik, thank you so much.
Thank you for everything you do, Paul. Smash that like button.
Nassau Financial Group is always working harder to be your carrier of choice. We build products that help protect people's savings and are dedicated to providing you with best-in-class service. We seek to keep things simple and have your back in the years to come. Nassau is headquartered in Hartford, Connecticut. Learn more at nfg.com.
Zinnia, an Eldridge Industries business, simplifies insurance. It delivers comprehensive solutions for the industry's most critical needs and creates the modern rails of the insurance industry. To learn more about Zinnia, please visit zinnia.com.